Hey, how you doing? It's Adrian here. Welcome to episode 4. I'm here to give you some more good strategies on how to get your shit together. And you'll remember last week I was focusing on staying healthy while traveling, and in particular how to survive long journeys or frequent journeys. And this week I'm going to be focusing on how to survive your destination, including the most exotic and potentially hazardous destination that you can. When I say survive, I can't guarantee survival from ferocious wild animals, but I can guarantee survival, more or less, from a healthy gut point of view. Okay, the light's fading here a little bit, so apologies for the weird lighting, and also apologies for the noisy background. It's rush hour here. I'm in La Paz, Bolivia, and it's a stunning city. I hope you can see the glorious mountains behind me. Okay, so I'm going to be giving you my 3 key strategies on how to survive any destination, including what I think is the single biggest freedom tip. Because that's what we're after here, right? It's freedom. Perfect freedom to go wherever you want to go, to be as adventurous as you want to be, right? Not to settle for second best in your choice of travel destination. Don't play it safe. No, go for the exotic, distant, strange place that you've always dreamed about going. Pick that place and go there. And when you get there, feel great. Don't feel sick and have to spend all the time in your hotel room feeling horrible. Okay? That's the result that we're after here. By the way, before I get into my strategies, I'm not talking about getting shots before you leave, like yellow fever, hepatitis B, rabies. That is important. I'm not saying it's not. That's something that you should do if you're traveling to destinations that need that. But what I'm talking about is steps that you can take in addition to getting shots that will help you to take your health into your hands so that you have as much control as you need or want over your health. Okay, so my first and biggest tip: stay as much as you can. Choose accommodation which is self-catering. You're thinking now, wait, Adrian, what are you talking about? I'm going on holiday. The last thing I want to do is cook when I get there. Are you telling me I need to stay somewhere where there's a kitchen? I need to bust my balls making food every day? That's the last thing I want to do, right? Well, okay, let me break it down. Sure, the lure of the laziness of kicking back and relaxing in an all-inclusive resort where waiters bring you food or you help yourself to buffets at any time of the day, the lure of that is pretty strong. I get that, sure, okay. But let me give you 3 reasons why that's not necessarily the best choice for you. If you're staying in a villa type accommodation, self-catering accommodation where you have a kitchen, you have control over your own food. When you're staying in a hotel where all the food is prepared for you, you don't know anything really about the standards of food hygiene in the kitchen. Now, this does depend on where you're going. If let's say you're a resident of the States, of the USA, and you're traveling to the UK, this doesn't apply so much. But if you're heading out somewhere more exotic, like Asia, Latin America, India, if you're staying in a chain hotel, you might be tempted to think, okay, fine, look, the food is going to be safe, I've got nothing to worry about. But you don't know what's going on in the kitchen back there. And you've got no control over the food ingredients. I mean, sure, you can say to the waiter, okay, look, does this particular dish have any wheat in it? Because I have a wheat intolerance. And you might get a truthful answer. You know, that depends. It depends where you are. You know, there may be language barriers for a start, but in my experience, people giving answers to those kind of food questions in restaurants sometimes give you the answer that you want to hear rather than the true answer. Whereas if you're cooking food in your own kitchen, you have control over the ingredients that go in there. Yes, I know it's a bit more work and maybe you're wanting to kick back and relax, it's on holiday, but instead you've got the joy, the fun of sourcing local fresh ingredients from the local market, checking out all the weird and different produce, the whatever it is, the huge mangoes and the crazy avocados, and having fun playing around with those, right? Okay, and here's another suggestion to make the workload a bit easier. Why not share the cooking load with your friends and family that you're traveling with, or people that you meet while you're out traveling? So yes, it is a bit more work, which is often the case with the strategies that I suggest, but totally worth it. Okay, the second tip is this. Avoid the local water. Now, again, that depends on where you are. If you're coming to the UK from somewhere else, yes, the water is safe. Or if you're traveling to the States, yes, the water is safe. But if you're going somewhere more exotic, a lot of places, the water is not safe to drink from the taps. Now, lots of you are thinking, okay, Adrian, that's pretty obvious. Why are you telling me this? I already know that. Well, you know, it's weird. When I was backpacking, which I did for a year, I saw most people from, say, the UK or the States, that you would expect to receive that advice, just completely forget it, just completely ignore it. Routinely, people did not follow that advice. And at some point, you're likely to pay the price. And also, the problem is that people don't think about what that means to avoid the local water. They think, okay, I just don't drink out of the tap. No, but also means you can't eat salad when you're out at restaurants, because if it has been washed at all, it's been washed in the local dirty water. You can't eat fruit unless you peeled it yourself. So fruit salad that you order in a restaurant, that's not safe. Ice in drinks that you order at bars, that will probably come from the tap water. It's not safe. And as a matter of course, in bars, you'll get ice in drinks unless you ask for it, or unless you ask not to have it. So you need to be on your guard. You need to particularly say, I want that, whatever it is, without Coke. Without Coke, I'm thinking. I don't advise drinking Coke if you're trying to get healthy, by the way. Without ice. Okay, the light's gone kind of... Can you see me? Good. Ice cream is another one that people forget about. They often buy an ice cream or kind of frozen thing in the streets from street vendors. Again, that's not safe. When you get desperate for some salad, when you're traveling in these kind of countries where it's not safe to drink the tap water, when you get desperate for some salads, this is where it comes in handy if you're self-catering, because you can take it back to your kitchen and there are ways to disinfect it safely. There are products that you can add to water. So you fill up a basin with water and you put in a few drops of disinfectant, which can either be a chemical one or a natural one, like oregano oil, and you leave it to soak in there for kind of 5 to 10 minutes. and that will do a really decent job of getting rid of the bacteria that covers the surface of the leaves of the salad. And I'll put some links down there. Number 3, okay, final tip. Try and keep your friendly bacteria topped up while you're traveling. Why? How is that going to help, Adrian? Well, as I've talked about in some of my other episodes, the state of your friendly bacteria in your digestive system has a really big impact on your immune system. So, if you manage to keep that topped up a bit while you're traveling, you get to give your immune system a bit more of a boost, and you can fight off those pathogens that are always going to be lurking around when you're traveling somewhere fairly exotic. Okay, so how do you do that? Here are my 3 top ways of topping up your friendly bacteria while you're on the road, just quickly. Number 1, bring a probiotic with you. You want to choose a kind that doesn't need refrigeration. So for example, there are lots out there, but one that I recommend is BioCult. So you can take that in your luggage, and it doesn't require refrigeration, so it keeps perfectly well while you're traveling. Stick it in your wash bag and you won't forget about it. Take a couple, up to 4 a day. Second way is eating fermented foods. Now, the most widely available ones around the world, in my experience, are yogurt and kefir. Particularly natural plain yogurt is the one that you can find in many countries. So you particularly want to go for one that is unflavoured, because it has a much higher quantity of live cultures in it. It doesn't have much flavour, or it has a bit of kind of tangy flavour, but you can add some fruit that you've peeled yourself to that to make a nice tasty dessert, or you can even have it with savoury, like with spicy curries. It's quite nice on the side, and that way you're getting a top up of some important bacterial cultures, which will help you fend off the pathogens. Okay, and finally, this is a slightly advanced tip, but if you're staying somewhere where you have a kitchen, and if you're staying for a little while, maybe a couple of weeks, you can ferment some vegetables. Like, in other words, you can make some sauerkraut, homemade, while you're on the road, basically. It only takes about 3 days to make a sauerkraut, and I'll put a link to how you do that. Basically, you chop up some cabbage, put it inside a suitable jar, and within a few days you have some live cultures, and you just add some of that sauerkraut onto the side of the food that you're eating. That way you're regularly topping up your cultures, your friendly bacterias. Okay, so what next? Let me know what you think of these ideas. Give them a try, and check out some of my other videos. Sign up to my mailing list, and yeah, more good stuff next week. Bye.